In today's episode, we're talking about your life mission and how you need to constantly reassess whether your life is according to your life purpose, your life mission, or has it deteriorated and gone off tangent. Let's find out what it is. Welcome, welcome. This is Gull Khan, your money mindset expert. And today we're talking about your life vision or your life purpose or however you want to see it. And why it's important to constantly reassess where you are according to your life mission, your life purpose, your life vision. Every birthday, I sort of, up until recently, I would go into kind of a zombie mode and work out how far I am, where according to my goals and where I am and what I've done and what I haven't done. And it was always a bit of a sad moment for me. I always see like, oh gosh, I've lived another year and I haven't done X, Y, and Z. And as optimistic as I am, for some bizarre reason, always on my birthday, I became very pessimistic. Now I've been aware of this, and I never really like it because the very next day I sort of reassess the day, and I'm like, why was I so sad, and why didn't I bother? And I have to give credit to this to a cousin of mine. I am very close to quite a few of my cousins, but this cousin of mine, she's in Canada. And I love how she celebrates herself. I love how she celebrates her birthday. And I love how she celebrates for herself by herself. And she's always, has sort of made sure, that I know this. And he's constantly telling me that, doesn't matter if anybody else, celebrates. You need to celebrate yourself, treat yourself, and treat yourself the way you would treat a child or a friend or a loved one. Why not? And I absolutely agree with 110%. So this year I made a point of it to make sure that I was going to celebrate her. So my birthday fell on a weekend. So I made it the birthday weekend. On Saturday, I went out with some of my college friends way back from the time I've known. Two of them I've known since I was 16, and one actually I've known since I was 11. So those friends are, quite dear to me, and they've been with me through thick and thin, through decades together now. And we had a wonderful time together. So I really enjoyed myself, and I got myself pampered, dressed really nicely, got up dressed really, really nicely, put a lippy on, which for me, by the way, those who know me would know is a big deal. Putting lipstick on is a big deal for me. I'm usually without makeup and lipstick at all. The most I'll do is probably put lip gloss on. Anyway, the point was I just dressed really nicely and went off to dinner with them, and I had a wonderful time. I stayed out late. For me, it's about 9-10 o'clock. So, we ended up having dinner, then going for dessert, and just sitting there and chatting, reminiscing about old times, just connecting with each other because we haven't seen each other for quite some time. And then today I really pampered myself. I had a mani pedi, and then I took my children out to a nice dinner, and it was lovely. So the whole weekend I've done nothing for work apart from recording this podcast, which between you and me, it's not really work at all. I love doing my podcast anyway. So apart from recording this episode, I haven't done any work whatsoever. I've, in terms of going on purposely on my phone to work, I've gone on there to say thank you to people who wished me happy birthday. But I've really given myself the time and space to just really enjoy my time and really take care of myself. And then I got myself some flowers, as I always do. And I just really being kind to myself, which is very different from my previous years. So this is why when I sat down to record today's topic, I thought, what topic should I talk about today? How can I help you, my listeners, with a piece of knowledge or piece of advice for my life? This has become more of a dialogue between you and I about how I live my life and how I'm growing and how I'm learning. And the best lesson I've had this year that I've been able to implement into my life is actually celebrate your life and look upon your life as where it is and where it's going. Now, it's very important to assess that. We're going to come on that in a bit, but for the time being, first of all, I think I wasn't intending to really talk about it, but I suppose it is celebrating your life. I really have celebrated my life this weekend. I've enjoyed myself, and it shows on my pictures. I look years younger compared to the only pictures I have on my current phone is from 2015, which is 7 years ago, which actually probably was the worst time in my life that was just a year prior to me leaving my ex-husband. I look horrible, I feel horrible, and there's a sadness about me that's just undeniably present. And now I'm vibrant and happy and smiley. It's amazing. So I'm celebrating my life. But this also means when I sat down and assessed my life, and I was just doing it purposely, I was just sort of doing it. So, when you do it, when you're thinking about something, but not really consciously focusing on it, you're just sort of mulling over it in your mind and your heart. And I was looking upon my life and I was thinking how blessed I am, how happy I am. And normally I would, this on this day particularly, I would beat myself up and say, look, how far are my goals and how far am I and what I haven't been able to achieve. Whereas today, I actually sat down and I've celebrated how far I've come along and how much I've achieved and where I'm going. So yes, you have to have a vision for your life, and I do. And I have a very, a very strong and highly aspirational vision for my life. It's amazing and it scares me at times as well. And when you have a vision for your life, or as a God, as I said before, purpose for your life goals and how you live it, you're supposed to bring it back in order. It's almost like having, when you start flying a plane, when you start flying a plane, for example, from London to New York, it's never going to be exactly on target. So you have to steer it back into into the mode, because the winds will come and steer it off, off course. And obviously the pilots don't do this manually now, it's done automatically. So automatically the program would be steering and bringing the plane back on course constantly throughout its journey, all the way from London to New York. That's how your life is. So when you have a vision that you are, this is where you're starting and that's where you're going. So your starting point in London is, for example, you are currently making I don't know, let's do, because this is the money mindset podcast, let's talk about money. So if you're currently, your focus is that you're making 10,000 a month at the moment and your goal is to make 1 million a month, right? So let's just say, for argument's sake, that is your goal. You don't know how you're going to get to the 1 million a month, but you know how to get to the 100,000. So you're constantly making sure that you are taking actions which are bringing you to 100,000. Now, in between, life will take over, hence the wind factor and other storms and other things that come up. You get distracted, life takes over. As in the case for me, most recently was my son's 11 plus, and what happened and what not, and other things to take over. Whatever happens, life takes over in various forms, and sometimes it sneaks up on you if you're not careful. But those are when you are steered off course. But when you reassess your life and think, okay, what is more important to me, or what is the most important thing for me? What do I need to be focusing on? You can rein things in and you can bring your focus back. And that means you can, your plane can be brought back on course. That's your life. Your plane is your life. You need to bring it back on course. So this is why it's very important to reassess multiple times. So where am I headed and how am I going to get there? And am I doing everything correctly in the way that needs to be done? Now, there's a wonderful, wonderful saying I had. I wish I could remember which author it was. It's not coming to me at the moment, but I will give credit in future episodes to this author. And this author said, this wonderful, wonderful person said, that your vision remains the same. Okay, your way, your methodology, your plan needs to be flexible enough to be able to change over time. So if your vision is to go from 10,000 a month to 100 to 1 million a month, your course of getting to 1 million a month may change. The service you offer may change. The business you may do may change, which could be, for example, the plan. That's the plan, right? So you want to take your income to 1 million a month. So how do you do that? You may be thinking continuing with this service. If you have a service-based product, maybe you're going to increase your services, or maybe you're going to have a separate business selling, I don't know, e-commerce, or you're going to go into a separate business altogether when you're in manufacturing. Who knows? So your methodology, your plan needs to be flexible enough to change and alter over time. But your vision, your mission, as so to speak. I'm using the words mission and vision interchangeably at the moment, but you understand what I mean, right? Your vision remains constant. Your vision is to make 1 million a month, and therefore you will change the methodology as long as you go along, and you should change it. The plan you have at the moment is not going to get you to 1 million. I'm going to say this right now. If you're currently on 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 or 50,000, and you're close to 100,000, that is and the plan you have to get to 1 million is probably not going to be that when you get there. Okay, you're going to have to make changes on the way. You're going to have other things coming, and you're going to have curveballs thrown in. Okay, so for example, I was on track to very multiple six and on a monthly basis. Yet we had the curveball thrown in with the Facebook algorithms. And I'm not the only one, by the way. A lot of other people have that. We've been talking to quite a few other people who are on the online space as I am, and Facebook has thrown the ads out of the window, completely crazy. So with the iOS update, we've had loads of issues with getting that there. So the plan has to change. You cannot rely on Facebook. So there are other methodologies and other ways to bring in leads. Of course, there are. So your plan changes, but your goal still remains the same. And in my case, it's actually, I pivoted completely, that I thought, okay, well, I want to not only have an online business, I need to focus on other businesses apart from trading and property. I want to go into something else. So now I'm looking into alternative businesses, which are brick and mortar. Maybe bring them on the online, make them more online based somehow. But either way, I'm looking at other businesses that I can bring into my portfolio and to have assets and have my income grow that way. You see what I mean? So my vision isn't changing. My methodology, my plan is flexible enough to change constantly. Right? So your plan needs to have that flexibility element to it. So you can't be stuck on a plan that, oh, well, I thought I was going to make $1 million from my coaching business. It has to be $1 million from a coaching business. Dude, do you want £1 million coaching business, or do you want £1 million? You have to be, you have to be clear about it. Now, if your mission is, I want to be making £1 million from a coaching business, be my guest. That is your vision. Then you stick to it. Then you find the ways of how you get leads and how you make that into £1 million coaching business. I'm not saying you cannot do it. I'm just telling you, you have to be clear about your vision and then be flexible with your plan as you go along. I am very clear about my income goals. I'm not that fussed about where the money comes from, to be honest. And the only reason why I keep my coaching business is because I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't do it for the money. I love my coaching business. I love my clients, and I love the testimonials that we receive. And we are constantly having, every time we go through it, after a couple of months, we're able to pick up these amazing testimonials, which we share with our audience as well. For example, recently a client of mine shared how she was making 100K in a corporate job, and then she came and did our program, and she's made twice that. So she's made 240K sitting at home, working from home, right? And we're doing less hours, of course. So those kind of crazy stories that come out are phenomenal. I love that. That's why I stick to my coaching business, because I love it so much. Financially, there are so many other businesses out there which can be more rewarding financially and can help you better and climb the ladder a lot quicker in terms of remuneration, right? So in terms of the kind of revenue you generate. So that's probably where you want to be at if money's more important. For the only reason why, I remember my accountant looked at my books and he said, why sticking to coaching is probably the least profitable compared to everything else you're doing. And I said, it takes up most of my time. I love it the most. It's the most fun thing I do. And that's why I do it. So it's my passion project. It's something that I wouldn't give up. Yet I don't want to put pressure on myself or my business to say that, okay, that's going to have my revenue a certain amount. I'm okay with it bringing a certain amount and the other parts, other section of the revenue coming from other businesses. But that's my vision. You can have a different vision. You can have a vision like, I know I'm going to be an amazing coach, life coach or business coach or whatever kind of coach you are. And I want to make $1 million a month from the coaching business. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But then you have to be clear about your vision. My vision is very clear in terms of the kind of money I want to make, not necessarily concerned with how much money I make from one particular business. That's me. Okay, so my methodology, my plan changes over time with what kind of businesses I have, what I'm doing, but I'm constantly reassessing, okay, where do I want to be and where am I at the moment? And if life takes over, I don't beat myself up about it. So this year, I didn't beat myself about, okay, I'm not there then, and this has happened, and the property business has had XYZ issues, and we had this and that, whatever. We've had loads of, complications come to us this year. It's absolutely fine, right? I'm not going to beat myself about it, the fact that I haven't done X, Y, and Z, and I haven't met my goals in certain amounts or whatever have you. I actually celebrated the fact that we had all these obstacles come my way and I overcame them very, very well. I'm really proud of how I've progressed. And even in personal life, I've made a lot of headway on certain personal matters. In terms of letting go of the guilt around being a good mom, because I felt like unless my kids had a father, I was not being a good mother. I had to force or encourage or coerce my ex-husband, to be a good father to them. So make sure that he, came on time and all the other things he should be doing. and for him to build a strong relationship with him. And I somehow took on the responsibility that for me to be a good mother, I had to make sure that he was a good dad and they had a father. That's completely BS, of course, right? That's not my responsibility. It's his responsibility to be a father or not. He gets to choose. And it doesn't make me a bad mom either way, right? So that's a major, major, huge, a shift that's happened in my mindset. And I feel so relieved and free from that, that burden that I was carrying, that if he wasn't a good enough father, if I couldn't make him a good enough father, somehow I failed as a mother. I let go of that limiting belief. I let go of that toxic idea. Now I feel relieved and free. And I really felt this year that I'm actually the best mother I could have been, and I am a great mom. And my daughter has gave me the lovely message that I'm a source of inspiration for her. And I know for a fact that I gave a talk at my son's school, and the boys were really, really impressed. These are 11-year-old boys, and of course we all connected with cars. And because I'm able to connect with boys, because my son's their age, we had a really fun session. I know they gave a lot of compliments to my son, so my son was very proud of me. So from my point of view, my children are really proud of me. We have a fantastic bond. I'm a great mother, right? I'm doing everything that I could possibly do for them, which is within my reach, within my grasp. I'm a great mother. I let myself off the hook of being this exceptionally perfect, God knows what kind of mother, in order to be a good mother. That was a huge achievement for me. Do you see what I mean? Right. So today I sat there, not intentionally, but slowly mulling over my life in terms of what's happened over the last year, and realized how much I've done, how much I've achieved, and how wonderful I am. And funnily enough, this year's probably financially has been the least, over the last few years, least rewarding compared to the others. So the other years I've made more money. This year, for one reason or the other, because of various businesses and various obstacles that came my way, money has not been as grand as it was previously. Yet I feel more fulfilled and I feel happier this year, because the other sides and the things that I've achieved in my personal life, in my mindset, in my personal family life, has been a lot more grander. And therefore, I'm very happy. So when I look at my vision for my life, I'm on track. Yes, financially, I may not be where I want to be according to my goals and what have you. But am I comfortable? Am I happy? Am I able to do everything that I need to do for my kids? Hell yeah. So I'm okay. So you have to assess your life on a regular basis. So keep an eye on your vision, because what if you don't? Now, here's the danger. If you don't keep an eye on your vision, it's very easy to get distracted. It's very easy to get swayed. And it's very easy if your plane gets off course, if you don't bring it back on course in time and very quickly, you're going to end up not in New York, but maybe in, maybe some other part of the world, right? Because that little variation, if it's left too long, you end up in a completely different direction, because you're in a different trajectory then, right? So whenever you stayed, of course, if you know, with the airplanes, the programming is constantly bringing it back on course, because even a tiny variation would bring you in a different destination. This is the same thing for your life. If you don't constantly assess where you are according to your vision or where you want to be, you're going to basically not get there at the end. That's basically the answer. And of course, the only way to get there is to bring yourself back on course. And that's by having flexibility around the methodology, through the plans. And therefore, your plans have to be flexible and adaptable over a period of time. But this is all part of the grander plan that you need to do. Plus, okay, I'm going to throw in a curveball here. You also need to allow some unusual, some miracle, some different activities through God, from universal energy. So if your plans are so rigid, it has to happen this way and that way, and it can't happen any other way, you're not allowing any miracles or any device energy any leeway to create some miracles for you to have those quantum jumps, to have those quantum leaps, to move forward in the direction of your vision, in the direction of your goals, right? So keep that in mind too. So your plans have to be flexible, and entwine enough flexibility and enough faith in divine energy so that divine energy creates miracles for you, right? So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It's been a fun one, and I've had a wonderful day, and it's been a fantastic end of the day by talking to you guys. I hope to see you next time. So until the next time we meet, this is Gull Khan signing off. Take care and bye for now.